Welcome to Lead Pods, the official leadership podcast from USMB for pastors and church leaders, where our goal is to increase our impact together.
Hello friends, welcome to episode 147 of the USMB Lead Pods. My name is Matt Ayersman and so glad to have you with us today for a really great, really inspiring conversation. So today my guest is Pastor Endashaw Kelkele. Endashaw is the lead pastor of the Ethiopian Evangelical Church in Aurora, Colorado, an MB church there. And he really has a powerful testimony. He grew up in Ethiopia, but at the time, the local government was not friendly towards Christians. He faced quite a bit of persecution as a young person. Eventually, he ended up leaving, spending some time in Kenya before eventually making it to the States. And Endashaw really didn't have any plans of becoming a pastor. That was not really part of his plan. But now he's leading a large and very influential church in Aurora, Colorado, very close to Denver. They're in a very interesting season, and I think there's a lot that really all of us as church leaders can learn from their story. And as USMB continues to have several more immigrant churches from various backgrounds around the world, it's so good for all of us just to hear their stories, to hear what their lives have been like, and ways that we can all work together to become stronger. This was a fascinating and really inspiring story. I'm excited for you to listen to this one. So, as always, we'll take a quick break to hear from this week's sponsor, and then you'll hear my conversation with Pastor Endashaw Kelkele.
MB Foundation provides biblical financial stewardship solutions to the Mennonite Brethren community. We assist individuals, pastors, churches, and organizations in their gathering, management, and distribution of financial resources for Christ and His kingdom. Our services include championing biblical stewardship, planned giving, loans, fund management, and investment certificates. We are ready to serve you. If you'd like to learn how financial stewardship solutions could benefit you, visit www.mbfoundation.com or call us today at 1-800-551-1547. MB Foundation is pleased to partner with USMB to bring you this episode of Lead Pods.
All right, my friends, so we've got a fun conversation today. I'm excited to introduce you, if you haven't met yet, Pastor Endashaw Kelkele. He is the lead pastor of the Ethiopian Evangelical Church of Denver. It's located in Aurora, Colorado. And we've just got some really fun and important things to talk about. So, Pastor Endashaw, so glad to have you with us. Thanks for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so good to get to know you. And for a lot of people of our podcast who listen, or USMB church family, you might be a new name, a new face to people. So can you just start by introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Endashaw Kelkele. I'm the lead pastor of Ethiopian Evangelical Church. My wife and I immigrated from Ethiopia first to Kenya, and then from Kenya to Ethiopia in 1989, the month of November. We were immigrated through the government process to be in Colorado. So we felt since then that Colorado is picked for us by God. So we've been here for the last 36 years, and Colorado is home.
Yeah, very cool. Would you mind sharing what was that immigration process like? What led to you coming to the States?
Before 1974, after 1974, Ethiopia became a communist country. So probably the last communist country in the world in a map.
Wow.
There was a big communism philosophy influence in Ethiopia. And back then I was a teenager, got saved in 1983.
Okay.
During that time, a lot of young people who were saved and became a Christian used to be persecuted. Some killed, some imprisoned for a long time, some imprisoned for a brief time. For the most part, we were not allowed, to follow Christ. Everybody needed to be indoctrinated with a communist ideology. As a result, a lot of young people in my age bracket back then dispersed all over the neighboring country. Some to Sudan, some to Kenya, some to Djibouti, some to Somalia. So I ended up in Kenya. So mine was Kenya. I stayed in Kenya for 2 years and immigrated to the United States in 1989, like I said. So communism was a big part for a lot of Ethiopians to leave the country.
Yeah. And for those of us who don't know that part of history very well, was there any religion, or was all religion kind of frowned upon? Or I would just like to learn more. What was it like at that time?
There were a religion that was accepted by the government, by the state, but Christianity, a real and deep relationship with Christ was not allowed back then. And or a lot of Protestant church, including Mennonite church, which we call in Amharic Meserete Christos.
Okay.
Those churches were all closed. So when I accepted Christ, there was no even a formal church out there. The church was underground. We met underground.
Wow.
So we were imprisoned, persecuted for our faith. That was why we left the country back then.
Yes.
But in 1993, the government was changed. By then already, young people have left the country by thousands.
So you go to Kenya, kind of just a safe place, kind of a transition, and then you ended up in the States. Is that?
Yeah, to go to another place, you need a passport. When the government don't allow you the passport and you are persecuted for your faith, the easiest was to walk out of the country to the next country. So Kenya is a neighboring country. So also my family is from South Ethiopia, North Kenya.
Okay.
I knew Kenya is there. So we walked to Kenya. Actually, me and my friend, we walked over 4 days to cross the borders, just to be safe and to be outside of Ethiopia. Once we get in Kenya, you go to United Nations immigration camp. There, they vet you, they interview you, they check everything, and while you are there, and then it was only we were allowed to live in Kenya and to work in Kenya.
My goodness. Well, first of all, I'm just so sorry. That's heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking, I think is the best word. Just tragic that you had to go through that. So tell me again, how old were you when you got to the States?
When I got to State, I was 27, I believe.
27. Okay. So, and you came straight to Colorado, to the Denver area?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know what Colorado is. I've heard of New York or DC, Washington, DC, or those major cities, LA, but I haven't heard of Colorado. And both me and my wife, we thought God picked Colorado for us. And we don't even plan to move from Colorado. So I've been here for the last 36 years. So it's home, like I said.
Okay. And at that point, what were your hopes and dreams? What were you hoping to do in America? Was being a pastor kind of already on your heart and on your mind, or did you already know English, or what was it like to kind of transition?
Yes, fairly, I used to speak, in Ethiopia, they educate students, especially after 7th grade.
Okay.
The academic subject was given in English, so I used to speak English. But I never dreamed that one day I would become a pastor of a church. So I loved the Lord with all my heart. And when I was also in Kenya, both me and my wife were YWAMer, uses a mission.
Yes.
We did a DTS and became a missionary for a period of time. So serving God was a passion of our heart. But since when I left Ethiopia, there was no church. I don't have an experience of what pastor's duty would be. I didn't have that experience. So I never thought that I would become a pastor one day.
Yeah.
But I've been pastoring this church for the last 33 years now.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. So how did that happen? So did you arrive in Colorado? Were you doing another job, or kind of walk us through your story that led to how you became pastor?
Yeah, like all immigrant people who just arrive, I did different jobs. One of my job was the initial job was I don't know how to explain, but this is a t-shirt factory.
Okay.
Very manual job, and you take this white t-shirt and dip into different color. So the artwork was done by other people, and our job is just, to push through the machine. And I'm working for 7-Eleven, but the final work before I joined the church was I used to drive a biomedical waste truck.
Okay.
Around Colorado, go to hospitals and private doctor offices and collect those things and bring it to a center where we incinerate, the medical waste.
Yes. Okay.
But through all that, as I drive, my cry heart was always to live for God.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you
But
eventually go to Bible college. Is it Central or Colorado Christian? Is that correct?
yes, that's where I went. And that is only after, there was a small fellowship, and they thought that really should I say, backtapping, or, they said, you should lead this church.
Uh-huh.
For almost 2 years, we didn't accept, both me and my wife. But when finally, the Holy Spirit witnessed to us, and the members who were encouraging us to take the responsibility, it's only after that, then I said, okay, how do I pastor a church without even going to Bible college? And that's when I stepped into Colorado Christian University.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So the church that you currently attend, is that you started attending there as you were doing these other jobs, and you said
Exactly.
the Holy Spirit spoke to you. Some people started to speak into you, saying, "Hey, maybe you need to think about this." Is that kind of how? Am I understanding it correctly? Is that how it got started?
Yes, for me, the people first spoke to me for over a year.
Okay.
In the Holy Spirit, I believe.
Yeah.
So I never thought I would do it.
And do you know, like, what do you think they saw in you? Are you just kind of a natural leader, or did you enjoy reading and studying the Bible, or what kind of prompted that, do you think?
I really believe that, the passion of my heart and my wife's heart was just to fully live for God,
Mm-hmm.
to love on Him and love to His people, love to His church. And I remember, finishing my route, when I used to drive a truck, to park, take shower, dress up, and go to fellowship, to Bible studies, prayer groups,
Mm-hmm.
but not for any other motive than just, be there for personally to be ministered, and at the same time to be a blessing to other people.
Yeah, very good.
So somehow the good Lord have seen that, and He favored us before also the small congregants that we had.
And so your church, again, forgive my ignorance, is Denver known to have a lot of Ethiopian immigrants? Did you find a community of other Ethiopian Christians, or has the church kind of helped that grow, or what was it like back then and right now?
Our church is the first Ethiopian Evangelical church in Colorado. When we moved
Wow.
here in 1989, like I said, there were no more than 300 Ethiopian and Eritrean community in the state.
Uh-huh.
Right now, as we are talking, it is estimated more than 50,000 Ethiopians live in this Aurora.
Wow.
More than 50,000. There are close to 10 evangelical churches, 5 Coptic Orthodox churches.
Wow. Is there just been kind of a steady increase of immigrants?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
So the immigrant people, they really go for work. So if Colorado have a lot of job opportunity, if they are living right now somewhere else, maybe Texas, then they move to Colorado. But if they found another opportunity somewhere else, they move from Colorado to other state too. So we are on, for the most part, on go for job hunt.
Yes. Okay, very good.
The Lord has a bigger picture, things in mind for us wherever we go.
Mm-hmm.
What we teach our people is we are going wherever we go for a mission.
Mm-hmm.
So we take, the mission of God very seriously. Whatever job we take, we teach that we may take it as a mission field.
Yes, that's awesome. And we were chatting just a few minutes before we started recording, Endashaw, and I just have to admit my ignorance. I don't really know very much about Eritrea. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. There's another small country next to Ethiopia, and so some people in your community are from that area. Can you, if other people aren't familiar with the area, can you kind of fill us in on the history there?
Yeah, geographical, Ethiopia, when I was growing up, it has like what we call in the United States, we have 50 states.
Uh-huh.
In Ethiopia, we used to have like 14 states, and Eritrea was one of the 14 and located on the northern part of Ethiopia. But there is some contention and issues all from the Second World War.
Okay.
So that kind of dripping issues continued until the last 30 years. There was fighting, just like in Canada between Quebec and the Canadians have issues. So we had that, and then Eritrea got its own independence from Ethiopia 30 years back.
Okay, very
When
good.
the communist government was, overturned, Eritrea also got its independence from Ethiopia.
Very good.
But culturally, since we are the same people, there are a lot of Eritrean members in our church, and in the church, the central thing is Christ. So there is no contention like what is out there.
Yes, very good. Well, I'd like to learn more about your church. So you've been there for 36 years, is that what you said?
Yeah, 36 years, being pastoring the church for 33 years.
Oh, that's amazing. So tell us more about your church. Is it almost exclusively Ethiopian immigrants? Is it bilingual? Give us just a feel of what a service or what a weekend looks like there.
Until last 1 year, the service is all in Amharic.
Okay.
But we call it in our building is a little bit longer to the side. So we say the south part and the north part. The south part is where our youth would go, where our middle schoolers and children would go. The south wing, we call it, it's English.
Okay.
The north is where the first generation, including myself, go. That's Amharic. So in the same building, same family, but since we are having our children here, all of them are, their language is English, and they go to school and the language in school is English. So we keep that even when they come to church. English is their main language. But the north part, where the adults and the parents go, it's in Amharic. So it's Ethiopian. So if we have like a guest speaker, and probably one day Matt will show up in Aurora.
Oh, I love that.
We give you headset.
Okay.
So through the headset, as the pastor preach, somebody else will translate. But we phased out that. Now we have English church too.
Okay. So do you have a church service in two different languages, or
right now? Yes, only for the last 1 year.
Okay, very good. So I imagine that's got to be just difficult to manage two different languages, and especially if the youth are all speaking English. Can you help us just understand what that's like? What are some of the challenges? And it sounds like you've made an intentional choice to do it this way, but again, I'm sure that's difficult. Can you tell us more about why you landed on that, and maybe some of the things that are pros and cons of that?
The Amharic language, the students or our young ones can learn at home.
Okay.
So, but when they come to church, we have only limited time. Either we teach a language or we teach a Bible. So we just said, for the period of time they are with us, we focus on the Bible. So their language is going to be in English. So just like Jewish family, because of the resource they have, the time they have, maybe they can do the teaching, the Jewish religion teaching. At the same time, they keep the language. For us, because we don't have that kind of luxury of time and resource, we focus on the Bible. So for our children, we have English-speaking ministers. For our youth, we have English-speaking ministers. But we only keep Amharic for the adult one. It is not easy job.
Yeah.
When the children get, to high school, in a normal American church, the high schoolers on Sunday sit with their parents. But because our children don't understand Amharic, so we still keep a youth ministry on Sunday. But when they graduate from college, before we didn't have any place for them to welcome them. As of last year, we started an English-speaking church, and now we have two services. There is an English church and there is Amharic church.
Wow. And I imagine for the adults, or maybe some of the older people, is that difficult for them to see their kids and their grandkids not knowing their native language? I imagine that's just part of your life, part of your culture. I'm sure it's important. What's that like for you and your congregants to kind of see that split happening?
Honestly speaking, the students speak language. Even if they don't speak, they understand language.
Okay.
And all that happen at home.
Okay.
So we encourage the family to speak to them in their language at home and ask them not to expect the church to teach them language, but expect us to teach Bible.
Right.
And so it's not easy. But what is more hard for the family, more than the language, is the culture shifting.
Yes.
So that, cultural difference is what is more urgent, and that is more, to some extent painful for the family.
Yeah. And help us understand that? Like what kinds of things are changing, or what's different from Ethiopian? Well, I'm sure there's a lot of differences. What are the most noticeable differences between Ethiopian and American culture as the young people are growing and aging?
Not understanding what is going on here, what's going on in school, what's going on in culture.
Yes.
Here is how it goes. When I was in my country, I went to school, and my children goes to the same school that I graduate from. For most American family, that is what is happening.
Right.
They graduate from high school, they get married, and they have children, and their children go to the same high school. And the culture is not that big. Yes, there is a cultural shift for all of us, but it's so difficult and different for our people.
Yeah.
We come to this country and we don't know really for that much about the culture. So when our student also brings, their probably what is going on and where they are struggling or what they want to do, and the parents were, for the most part, not ready to say, how come? And instead of attentive listening and trying to dig out what they are trying to say, that first shock is going to block the communication between the student and the parents. So the student would say, no, my parents don't understand this, and probably I should not share with them. So there is a big cultural shock and cultural differences between first and second generation.
Yeah. And over the years, I've spoken with some other pastors who lead immigrant churches, and it's just such a difficult task, because I know you've just said that like your primary job is to teach the Bible, which is of course true. But I imagine with the heart of a pastor, you want to care for your people. And when they're adjusting to a new culture, especially if they've just recently arrived, there's a lot of just human soul stuff that people just need help with, and they might turn to you. So is that true in your church? Do you, obviously, other than teaching the Bible, are you just helping people adjust to American life? And what is that like?
Honestly speaking, now we have quite a few people who are involving in social work and helping, teaching them how to drive, how to get into highway, how to exit highway.
Yeah.
Or, maybe helping them with immigration interview, help them, locate where the job is. So there are quite a few people who have involved, and that is really one of the main ministry we have in our church, especially for those who are arriving newly.
Yeah.
So we have that kind of help. It's just countless, interpreting at the court, taking them to the hospital and helping them through interpreting. And all of that is a job of, the church. Basically, the church is the center of a community.
Yes.
Sometimes the expectation is more than what we could offer. But the truth is that the people who just come, they look for a church, they look for a community, and God has really used us to help other peoples.
Oh, that's awesome. It's clearly very needed. So on your church, tell us, so are there multiple people on your staff? What kind of staff do you have? It sounds like you've got multiple services, and sounds like a healthy, growing kids and student ministry. I watched a little bit of one of your services on YouTube. You've got some great camera operators and things. So give us a feel. How many people are at your church on a week, and how many services? Just some of those kind of details might help us get a clear picture of what you're leading.
I think the main services is the English service and Amharic service. The English service is 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. The Amharic one is 11:30. So we use the same building. So the turnover time is 45 minutes for the first group, to leave the parking, and then Amharic people will come.
Okay.
But where we are strong is more than the Sunday service. We have home groups everywhere.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Like home groups, we call it life group.
Yes.
Probably, we have multiple services like that in most neighborhoods in city of Aurora. There, we study the Bible, but at the same time, we share lives. So every members of the church would give, a reflection of their week, what's going on. That's how we get to support each other.
Yeah.
But probably the camera, you saw, we do have a very good camera team, a media team. But
Yeah.
mostly when there is a New Year Eve celebration or Easter celebration, and like I said, church is the center of a community, so everybody wants to come. So probably our church is now, the membership is close to 500.
Yeah, very good. And I noticed a lot of your YouTube videos just have a lot of views. Do you know, are Ethiopian people from other areas watching online? Do you have any idea?
Oh yeah.
Because again, forgive my ignorance. Are there other Ethiopian options nearby Denver or surrounding areas?
Yes. I did mention to you that there are 10 churches,
Yes.
evangelical churches. So there's plenty of churches in the area. But at the same time, like I said, we still have a lot of people out there that we need to be reaching out.
Yes, very good.
If you add the whole 10 churches, how many people are in the church? Probably we could add up to 2,000 people.
Wow, yeah.
But we have 50,000 of our people, community who's out there. Now we have an English church. So that church is for everybody. It's not only for Amharic speaking people.
Yes.
So we have a lot to be doing.
Yes. Well, so tell us more. What kind of outreaches or programs are you currently doing? What are you hoping will work to reach some of these people in your community? I'm sure I know you're active in your community. What are you doing to help reach out to those 50,000 people?
We have a regular evangelism team. So every day, a group of people will go to street. We have a tract. We go to park. We go to mall. We go downtown. Every day. So we have like close to 100 people who every day go to the street, to evangelize. But once in a month, everybody goes together.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is evangelism wing. We also have a clothes and food drive. So when we go every month, what we call Love in Action Ministry, where people will bring clothes, food, and then we take to street homeless. We try to reach out. But the most important thing that we do as a venue for evangelism is to teach our people that we come to this country for a bigger purpose. Not only to work and to make a living, but some of our people work helping the senior citizens in assisted living. Whoever we are assigned, we are a missionary. If we do a very good job, we can share Christ with them. And we are hearing a lot of testimonies. If we work for a company to do a good job and to represent Christ well. So this is, where we see a lot of victory and testimonies that we are hearing from our members. So for the most part, immigration happens sometimes through push, sometimes through pull. When I say push, like myself, we were pushed out. The pulling is like when I invite my family member to come, to immigrate to America. But however, we are here for a greater purpose. Like Joseph said, you sold me, but God sent me. So we really capitalize on the sending part. God has sent us here. So that is, we do this as an evangelism venue.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess we haven't talked about this yet, but is your church considered a USMB church? It's a Mennonite Brethren church, right?
Yes. We are U.S. Mennonite Brethren church.
And you mentioned there's some Mennonite presence in Ethiopia. Is that right?
It's like we call it Meserete Christos. It's equal to Mennonite.
Yes, very good. And so the other Ethiopian churches near you, it sounds to me like you work closely with them. There are different denominations, but are you able to work together despite denominational differences? And is that something that you do on a regular basis, other than the outreach things you were talking about?
Are you talking between us and the one in Ethiopia, or us
I,
here?
I meant the ones in Colorado, but sure, Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, we are different background. Some of us are full gospel. Some of us are Mennonites. Some of us are Lutheran.
Okay.
Some of us got saved here. They don't have any background denomination.
True. Yeah. Okay.
So initially, when we joined MB, the drive force was, we wanted to buy a place, the first church, and the commercial bank didn't give us. So I had a Mennonite brethren, pastor friend, who told me about the Mennonite.
Yeah.
So I called the MB, and so affiliated since. So the real ties, because people already, they are adult, they have grown up, there are a denomination they claim from Ethiopia. So it's just hard, to change that. But so we are here as different denomination members.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I know in recent years, we've had quite a few, whether it's Ethiopian or Congolese churches join the USMB. And there's this desire, I think we all want to work together really closely and see how we can help each other and resource each other. But I know obviously there's just challenges with different cultures and different languages and maybe some different expectations. So I guess from your perspective, how can our churches work together? And I guess from your perspective, leading an immigrant church, what do you want the rest of us to know, and how can we work and learn together?
It's I believe it's Henry Blackaby, the man who wrote Experiencing God book.
Yes.
He said, look where God is blessing and join. So people like Congolese, Ethiopian, Eritrean, or different immigrant community that are moved to America, usually they came because of the hardship they passed through.
Yes.
But somehow they come here, and God he gave them a hunger, a desire to serve him.
Yeah.
So growing up, the Mennonite church from America have blessed my country in Ethiopia. Not only Ethiopia, but most of, all over the continent, you have been a blessing. But now we are here, and God is using a lot of immigrant churches.
Yes.
So blessing where God is blessed is going to increase the blessing. Our people wants to be missionaries. So for Mennonite, for that matter, even other denomination in the country, if they help the immigrant church, they are doing a good mission work. So
yes.
We are the recipient. The church today we are in was, because the MB resourced, gave us a loan, trusted us, with a lot of money. We are keeping up the payment, but initially it's not easy if it's not of MB.
Sure.
So I'm just grateful. I'm glad they did that. So I'm just saying, other immigrant churches who come, probably they would do a good job as far as mission is concerned.
Yeah.
So you're asking me how you could, the MB could help is honestly understanding and listening their story and coming alongside of them so that they could do a ministry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very important. And I want to be really careful here. Earlier, you said something like a lot of people don't understand the current American culture in your church. And to be honest with you, I feel like I don't really understand the current American culture. This is a difficult time. Can you just talk about what it's like to be an immigrant community right now, and what do you want us to know? I imagine these are just hard days for people who are just trying to make a living and support their families in America, and just kind of the political culture that we're in right now. What do you want us to know, and how are you wrestling with that right now?
It's just different for different communities.
Mhm.
I am grateful, and our church is grateful that we are here and we get an opportunity to worship freely.
Mhm.
But like everybody else, we have our own challenges.
Yeah.
And because of all the challenges we passed through, comparing, where we come from and what we have already faced, this is manageable.
Mhm.
So I don't have much, to say that is alarming.
Mhm.
But as far as the mission is concerned, honestly speaking, I feel like God is using the immigrant churches wherever they are. I know they're not MBs, but some Ghanaians and Kenyans that are in Aurora, they all are really, passionate about the Lord. So there is something, there is season for everything. Maybe God is really, he wanted to use the immigrant community. So for churches, to pay attention and to really love on them and encourage them so that their young ones also would, follow the Lord and maybe probably get into ministerial.
And you mentioned at your church, you do your best to help with social work and language work and learning how to drive and how to get a driver's license and things like that. And obviously your community, that's, it's definitely needed, and maybe, I don't know, not assumed, but it's just a very clear need for your neighborhood. But even for people who are listening in California and Kansas and Oklahoma, there's immigrants in those communities as well. And I guess, is there anything else for people who are in a church or leading a church that's not necessarily a quote unquote immigrant church, but there's, of course, there are immigrants all around us. What can other churches do to help, again, with the situation that we're in? Do you have any advice for pastors leading those churches? I think for a lot of people, it just feels like such a big issue, a big problem. We don't know where to start. We may not know the language. So is there anything that we can do to help people who are trying to get established here?
Honestly speaking, like getting closer with the leader of that immigrant community is sitting with them, listening their stories and paying attention to where they are hurting and to see if there's an opportunity to come alongside of them. That would be exceptionally good. Yeah. Especially when it comes to children ministry and youth ministry. We don't have that. Even back home in Ethiopia, where I come from, no, let alone a while back, even today, the children sit with the family.
Right.
Because of the language and the culture, that's okay. But here, we need really, to pay attention to, spiritual formation of our young ones. And the community themselves, because they don't understand what is going on, we don't have much to give. We love them, totally. But sometimes what we do for them because we love them is going to hurt them.
Yes, yes.
I can tell you, it's just one example for, because we came from a hardship place, our family don't want our children to go through the same thing that we went through.
Sure.
If I didn't have shoes growing up, I want to give the best shoes to my growing up son. But that is going to kill him. Here, they should at least work for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So the parent who work for it will have iPhone 14 and their young ones also have iPhone 14. So these things like, it's only we give to them because we don't want them to suffer like we suffered before.
Yeah.
But they just don't see the danger it is bringing. So, So my prayer is that the community around the immigrants, wherever they are, I think there's an opportunity for a ministry.
Yeah.
It should start with the leaders of that congregation and sit with them and see how can we help. How are the children doing? How are the youth are doing? And those things are very important.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we look at your church specifically, if you were to try to look ahead 5 or 10 years, are you kind of imagining that the English service will continue to grow? And do you feel like that's kind of the future of your church, is to leaning more and more into English for the younger people? Or where do you think your church will be in 5 or 10
years? So. Yes, you are right on. The future is English church.
Mm-hmm.
And we only have the Amharic service because still community are coming.
Uh-huh.
But at one point when the community, doors may be closed, which already there is a sign that will happen. So if the door is closed, this is just only one generation church. But the English church is going to be our future. So we want to invest on English church, on the young ones.
Mm-hmm. And what are some opportunities that you see? Like, what good things does that provide, and what challenges do you see as you move toward that way?
Opportunity is measureless. I just don't see the challenge. The challenge is probably for the first generation to let go.
Yeah.
Everything that we have, the building and but in our church, we are entertaining all this with leadership, and we have very good leaders, very understanding leaders. So since we are talking among ourselves, it looks like it's going to be easy, but letting go the building, letting go the resource, releasing them, it's not going to be easy, if you've been here for the last so many years, but it is doable. And that is going to help us.
Well, it's so funny because in a lot of ways, people might look at your church and some of the other USMB churches and think there are so many differences, but what you just said is what every church struggles with, right? There are going to be things that some people want to hold on to, and the next generation may want to change things around, and it's kind of up to the pastor to lead that change, right? So whether it's changing languages, changing cultures, or things that are far less significant, I think every church leader has to lead change like you're talking about. So do you have any insight? How do you do that? How do you help the generations?
I've learned this: control and growth don't go together. So if you want to grow, you just have to release the control. And sometimes, if the change comes so quick, so big, maybe it affects the general community. But if you have understanding, and you just have to really intentionally go that way, as you let it go, it will grow.
Yeah.
So at one point, we all have to let it go.
It sounds so easy, doesn't it?
God has used me, a young man from Ethiopia who didn't go to Bible college, enlisted me to be pastor. I only went to Bible college as I was serving. If he used me, he's going to use, our young one who went to high school here, who went to college here, who really, loved the Lord and went to serve him. And I have to remind myself this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you've accomplished, and it's so cool to hear your story. And I would love to come visit your church. It sounds like an amazing.
Please, Matt, you are most welcome.
I would love to. Well, as we kind of start to wrap up here, is there what else about your church haven't you told us, or what else about immigrant culture do you think that we need to learn? What haven't we talked about yet that you'd like to share with us?
If there is an immigrant church pastors or individuals listening to me, I think we need to be bold. We are here for a mission. I don't think I've been bold as I want to.
Okay.
The heirs and everything that belongs to God. So God, in his own foreknowledge, he had opened the door and he brought us here for one reason, and to make us a blessing for the nation, for the community we are living in. So there is so many other things, my accent, my probably connections, social connection, financial standing, so many things that the devil try to bring. But something that, more important than this all is that, God is with us and he sent us here. We should take his mission very seriously and bold. And God is going to use us. He used the disciples who were from Galilee, who were not educated.
Yeah.
And he used them to turn upside down Jerusalem.
Yes.
So that is just but there is a lot of pressure, when you think about it. So the enemy try to degrade what God has started. So as a leaders, we all go through this. We get tempted, we got, doubt. But my encouragement is, God is with us.
Mm. Yes. And, I don't know you very well, Endashaw, but from what I hear, what I see, I think you're leading that so well. So thank you for modeling that for other immigrant leaders, but also for me and for the rest of us listening. It's really cool just to hear about how God is at work at your church. So thank you for the way that you're leading.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for our time.
Yes. Thank you. Good talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a church staff member or ministry leader who wants clarity, confidence, and more joy in your calling? USMB's Lead Coaching can help. It's an intentional life-on-life relationship that helps you discover where you are, where God is leading you, and how to get there. Your trained MB coach will help you set goals, create practical action steps, and provide the accountability you need to grow and thrive. To learn more or get connected with a coach, contact Ed Boschman at 661-549-6021 or evboschman@gmail.com or visit usmb.org/lead-coaching.
Well, once again, what a fun and inspiring story from Endashaw. So thank you again, Pastor, for spending time with us and sharing about your church. And there's several things that I'm going to take away from this episode. I loved his perspective that these people who are coming to the States as immigrants, that they're not just here because they may or may not have to be, but they're here for a bigger purpose, and God has a plan for them while they're here in the States. That was so encouraging for me to hear. And the other kind of one-liner that I'm going to take from this is control and growth don't go together. If you want to grow, you have to release control. And Endashaw's church is a great example of that. And man, that's something that I think all of us can remember and put into practice in our churches. Change is hard, but I really appreciated Endashaw's both his advice, but also how he's living this out with his church family. So hey, as we wrap up now, one more kind of quick fun announcement for you. As of this week, Lead Pods is now on YouTube. So a lot of people probably listen on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, but if you prefer YouTube for whatever reason, we should be there both on just regular YouTube as well as YouTube Music. So if that's helpful to you, I invite you to hop over there, subscribe, and listen to us over there if that's convenient for you. We're also starting to post some shorts over there on YouTube every week, and those are getting a lot of attention, a lot of views, and that's just so cool to see. So make sure you head over to YouTube, search for USMB Churches, give us a follow, and keep an eye out for our shorts and our podcast episodes over there as well. All right, with that, we'll wrap it up. So thanks again so much for listening. Hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time here on Lead Pods.
Thanks for listening to Lead Pods. Make sure you don't miss an episode by subscribing to our show wherever you're listening today. Learn more by visiting usmb.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you next time as we learn more practical tools to increase our impact together.